in the fog of war, and more importantly, in the zeal to establish dominance, the truth is the first casualty. Over the last few days, essentially to save face, the Pakistani military began to make some claims about the costs they have inflicted upon their Indian counterparts. Duly, the Indian military also made some claims, some more astonishing than others. Were they all factual? Or were some of them, as I said, an attempt to create a narrative? Let's break this down. Let's first look at some of the Pakistani claims. The first claim was truly astonishing. The Pakistanis claimed that they had destroyed India's S-400 missile system at the Adampur Airbase. The reality was starkly different. Prime Minister Modi visited the airbase in Adampur and he stood besides the S-400 as well as the MiG-29 jet to demolish that claim. It was also, of course, dismissed during the DGMO's press briefing. There was another claim, and that claim was equally alarming, that the Pakistani military had destroyed the BrahMos missile storage site in the general area Beas region. And they said that it was destroyed as part of its retaliatory operation named Banyan un Marsus. The truth was far different. The Indian government presented visual evidence with time-stamped imagery that belied this claim. There was another claim which was less bombastic but nonetheless equally compelling, that India's airfields in Jammu, Pathankot, Bhatinda, Nalia and Bhuj were hit. These claims were also dismissed during press briefings. Satellite pictures made public by privately owned companies established that Pakistan had manipulated images to make fake claims. There were other more insidious claims that were made by the Pakistani military, and these were not military in nature. They said that India deliberately targeted mosques in Bhavalpur and Muridke. The truth was that satellite images displayed by the military and also footage recorded by the airplanes that were sent in, and of course the missile-mounted cameras showed that the operation was aimed exclusively at terrorist camps and facilities, and that no religious sites in civilian areas were targeted. The Pakistanis also claimed that Indian drones tried to target Nankana Sahib. This claim was also officially dismissed during the press briefings as a blatant lie. Pakistan also claimed that Indian missiles have hit Afghanistan. Luckily for us viewers, an attempt to strike discord between India and Afghanistan was shot down, so to speak, by not only the DGMOs during the press briefing who called it a frivolous allegation, but also by the Afghan government itself. The Pakistani military also claimed that Indian armed forces targeted their own cities like Amritsar and blamed Islamabad. The truth was that visual evidence by media as well as, of course, satellite images and later corroborated by the DGMOs itself, the Indian DGMOs, that dismissed it as a deranged fantasy. Ammunition dumps in Chandigarh and Beas were damaged. We already touched upon that. The Pakistani claim was also debunked during press briefings, and the Pakistanis themselves have never come up with any visual evidence to back their claims. The Pakistanis have claimed the downing of 5 Indian planes, including 3 Rafale jets. The truth here is grayer. The DGMO, the Indian DGMO, said all pilots have safely returned to base. The words they said was, all pilots were safely back with us. But tellingly, the Indian side did not elaborate on the status of the jets. All of these facts that I've just laid out before you were sourced from the press briefings put together by the DGMOs, OSINT data, which corroborates a large number of facts. There were several social media claims also. The Indian side, the Indian social media warriors, let's call them that for the lack of a better word, claimed that India had struck Pakistan's nuclear site at Kirana Hills. The DGAO, that is the Indian DGAO, confirmed that India did not target the Kirana Hills. In fact, at the DGMO briefing, this claim was totally denied. And the reporter that asked the question was rhetorically asked and complimented for informing the Indian side that a nuclear weapons facility was actually under the Kirana Hills. Another claim made by social media warriors on the Indian side was that the number of Pakistani aircraft had been shot down, especially over Srinagar. The truth again was put out by the DGAO, but he confirmed strikes, but not on our side of the border, on the Pakistani side, but refused to speculate on how many. He did not reveal any numbers. The official handle of the Karachi Port Trust confirmed damage. So this was put out by the seemingly official Twitter site or Twitter web page of the Karachi Port Trust. But the Karachi Port Trust later clarified that the account was hacked and there exists no visual evidence to show that Karachi Port itself was targeted. Another claim was made that the Army Chief Asif Munir, this is the Pakistani Army Chief, was taken into custody. There's no evidence to substantiate this claim. In fact, visual evidence that has emerged shows him very much free in Pakistan, visiting the wounded in hospitals. The Pakistani side claimed that Prime Minister Modi, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, the Foreign Affairs Minister Jai Shankar apologized to the world. But the said videos were AI-generated deep fake videos. So that claim was also debunked. The other claim the Pakistanis made, which went viral in this country, was that an IAF female pilot, Shivani Singh, had been captured. This claim was officially dismissed by the Indian government. In fact, the pilot in question was very much at a base and spoke to a journalist on the Indian side in India that she was safe and sound in continuing her duties. Another claim that was made by the Pakistani side was that CNN infographic showed that India suffered heavier losses than Pakistan. The truth is that the CNN website or the channel or the news portal never ran any infographic comparing losses. Around 3 IAF fighter jets crashed in the Himalayan region was another viral claim put out by Pakistani Twitter warriors. But it turned out to be the pictures of an old 2016 wreckage of a MiG-27 in Jodhpur. Jodhpur and the Himalayas are very far from each other. Another claim was that Pakistani Navy destroyed the Bangalore port and Patna seaport. Now, this is palpably fake because the only port really in Bangalore are the ports that you use to plug in your computers. And Patna is nowhere near a sea. These are both landlocked cities. Now friends, let's get to the verified hits. Very high resolution commercial satellite images of air bases in Pakistan that were targeted by India during Operation Sindoor on May 10 reveal extensive damage showing the impact of precision strikes carried out by the armed forces. The strikes at the strategic military sites of Pakistan are believed to have pushed a rattled Shehbaz Sharif-led government to approach India for a ceasefire after 3 days of an undeclared war, of hostilities basically. let's take you through some of the verified, visually verified hits on the Pakistan military installations. So the PAF base, or the Pakistan Armed Forces Air Force Base in Shukkur, has been hit. A forward operational base of the Pakistan Air Force also functions as the Begum Nusrat Bhutto International Airport, making it the second major civilian airport in Sindh after Karachi's Jinnah International Airport. A satellite image shows one of the two aircraft shelters completely damaged at this base. Karachi. So Karachi port wasn't hit. It was the Malir cantonment that was targeted and hit, and visual evidence has come forth. In Jacobabad, the hangar strike struck with precision missiles, damaging air infrastructure. Noor Khan Airbase, this was a major hit by the Indian forces located within 10 kilometers of the Pakistani Army headquarters in Rawalpindi. Noor Khan Airbase in Chaklala houses the PAF transport aircraft such as the Lockheed C-130 Hercules, Ilyushin IL-78 refuelers, and trainers such as the Karakoram 8. Analysis of satellite imagery by open source researcher Damien Simon indicates damage to at least 2 military transport vehicles. Then, of course, is Rahim Yar Khan Airbase. The Indian strike created a massive crater of around 19 feet in radius on the Rahim Yar Khan Seoul runway. Debris can be seen littered around the crater that measures nearly 43 feet in radius. Following the strike, Pakistan has suspended all flight operations at the dual-use airport for a week. Day-to-day operations at the airport are handled by the Pakistan Civil Aviation Authority. Then there is the PAF base Mushaf in Sargodha. Indian missile strikes left 2 large craters on the runway of the Mushaf Air Base, with one measuring around 15 feet in radius, rendering it non-operational. The satellite imagery clearly shows this. The strike left a relatively smaller crater of around 10 feet in radius at the intersection of the runway, and you can see that clearly. Damage to some transport vehicles can also be seen. The Sargodha Air Base is regarded as the crown jewel of the Pakistan Air Force, housing its most advanced fighter jets and critical institutions such as the Central Air Command, the Combat Commanders School, and the Air Power Center of Excellence. The American F-16 Fighting Falcon, the Chinese Chengdu J-7, the French Mirage 5, and the JF-17 Thunder are among the advanced aircraft stationed here. I've already told you about the Jacobabad Airport, once a crucial hub for NATO during Operation Enduring Freedom, the official name for the US-led global war on terror. Jacobabad Air Base remains strategically vital for Pakistan. It hosts some of Pakistan Air Force's most advanced assets, some of the ones that I just mentioned, including the Italian-made Leonardo AW139 helicopters, and the latest JF-17 Block 2 jets, various F-16 Fighting Falcon variants, operated by 88 Search and Rescue Squadron. Local media reports also indicate the presence of private contractors at the base who provide maintenance support for the American F-16 fleet. New satellite images show that the Indian Air Force struck hangar at the Pakistani Air Force Air Base Shahbaz in Jacobabad. Bholari Air Base. Bholari is among Pakistan's newest air bases, housing JF-17 Thunder and F-16 Fighting Falcons, as well as Saab 2000 AEWACs, fitted with the ERI radar system. A high-resolution satellite image suggests a damaged hangar where aircraft are kept. Some aircraft were likely damaged too at the Bholari Air Base. Then there's, of course, Rafiki. Pakistan Air Base Rafiki, formerly known as PF Base Shorkot, is a Pakistan Air Force air base located near Shorkot, Jhang district in the Punjab province of Pakistan and located around 337 kilometers south of Islamabad. Then there's Murid, also struck to PAF base. Murid is an operational flying base of the Pakistani Air Force located near the village of Murid in Chakwal district of Punjab. It houses the UCAV and the UAV fleet of the PAF. Then there's Gujranwala, where radar site, part of the air defense system, was down. Lahore, the Chunian Air Base, is among PA's primary operational base is located in Punjab's Chunian town, about 70 kilometers south of Lahore. And talking about Lahore, a radar site, part of the ADS, was disabled as footage of a kamikaze drone, an Indian drone, hitting that particular ADS. Sialkot Aviation Base in Punjab has two airports, one international one and a cantonment one. The international airport is the first airport in Pakistan that is privately owned and operates both domestic and international flights. The cantonment airport is used for military aircraft. This was also struck. Pasroor. Radar sites at Pasroor Airbase, Sialkot district in Punjab, were also hit by India. The DGMO showed us those pictures. This, friends, is a comprehensive factual roundup of all the claims that were made and the counterclaims. But more importantly, it cuts through the fog of war to establish a fact line. I hope you got some clarity after viewing this video. Thank you.